2018 was another great year for gaming, with both AAA titles and indie games shining through. My top 10 list of games, however, will be missing some of the more well-known titles, as I don't have a PS4. I missed out on the likes of God of War, Spider-Man and Red Dead Redemption 2. Worth investing in one perhaps? However, I played a number of great games last year, so here's my top 10. Exploration games have increased in popularity recently, and Subnautica is an example of one of the best of them. Dive below the surface of an alien world to explore the gorgeous reefs and caves while avoiding the dangerous wildlife. Harvest and mine to craft new equipment to extend your reach, with each trip offering new surprises while also posing new dangers. Subnautica taps into that desire to explore and collect, and the longer you play, the more risks you take in the hope for an even bigger reward at the end of it. Okay, so technically this game didn't come out this year, but it was released on Xbox One for the first time in 2018, and it was the first time I played it, so I'm going to count it. Hellblade tells the story of a Celtic warrior who travels to Viking hell to fight for the soul of her dead lover. On top of that, our protagonist suffers from psychosis, leading to an onslaught of voices in your head, either spurring you on or berating you at every opportunity.
Can you see them? Can you see them? They're going to do that to you.
Graphically, the game is gorgeous, while the sound is on point. The music is apt, while both the voices help and hinder your playthrough. The gameplay is a combination of puzzling sections requiring you to locate certain runes to progress, and a combat system that is simple yet effective, taking on more and more gruesome opponents. I sat and played through the entire game in one sitting, as it had me enthralled from start to finish, and the only reason this isn't higher is because, well, technically it came out at the end of 2017. The gaming release schedule is never short of JRPGs, however in 2018 one stood out more than most: Octopath Traveler. Developed by Square Enix, the game uses what it calls a 2D HD visual style. The sprites are reminiscent of the SNES era of their games such as Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana. Imagine playing these games but having the characters, environments and battles just pop out right at you. The game itself follows the parallel stories of 8 different characters, of which you can play in any order, and while the story is of typical JRPG end of the world heroics, the way the characters' goals eventually intertwine makes for an interesting journey. The enemy engagements are turn-based, however with the mechanics on offer they feel more like puzzles than traditional battling. Currently it's Switch exclusive. If you're a fan of Final Fantasy-esque RPGs, then this is definitely worth picking up. Deltarune came out of nowhere this year. Nobody was expecting it, and even after the release, a lot of people were unsure of its significance. Developed by Toby Fox, author of the 2015 hit Undertale, Deltarune was released on Twitter and is actually only the first part of a new game, with further episodes nowhere on the horizon for now. The story includes a lot of characters from Undertale, albeit in a different universe, and follows the stories of 3 kids in a new land trying to stop the darkness of the local kingdom. The game has the same humour and charm as Undertale, also prompting you to take the nicer option and not fight your opponents. Rather than go in guns, or rather swords blazing, the combat system has actually been tweaked, with players being rewarded for near misses to charge a meter for more powerful moves. The game ends on a cliffhanger, and despite meeting almost every character seen before in Undertale, Toby Fox has maintained the games aren't linked, and this title does not offer you any choice in the story. How accurate that will be in the long run, we'll be waiting a while to find out. Sometimes a game just comes along and feels right. Celeste is one of those games. 2D platformers need something to stand out from the greats, and Celeste manages to do that with tight, precise controls that result in a beautifully flowing gameplay when done right. Yes, some gamers may experience a lot of dying in this game, but the levels, of which there are hundreds of screens to beat, never feel unfair against the player. If you want a challenging platformer that rewards a dedicated player, then this will be right up your street. Combined with a cute and catchy soundtrack and gorgeous visuals, Celeste is not only one of the best games from 2018, but one of the best platformers in recent memory. I'll probably get some flack for this, as technically this isn't a complete game and only half the episodes were released in 2018, but what the hell. The Walking Dead final season recaptures the feeling of the first game in the series as you continue Clementine's story, now age 17, as she looks after a slightly more grown AJ, the child she has been looking after since season 2. Of course, plans never go the way you expect, and the story is as engrossing as the rest of the series, with twists and turns in the plot all the way through. The game actually has more interaction than some of the more recent entries, more investigation, collectibles to find, and action sequences. There is a combat system involving stunning and or killing the walkers, while you also get the opportunity to use a gun and a bow elsewhere in the story. The graphics hold true to the game's style and the soundtrack is engrossing as ever, varying between the dramatic and the calming depending on the moment. With the series essentially being saved by Skybound following Telltale's collapse, we'll find out the culmination of Clementine's story in 2019. There was a lot of criticism of this game before it even came out, with hardcore fans angry at the delay of another main series game for a title that catered towards the casual community. In the end, this has been a brilliant reimagining of the first generation of Pokemon games, with the 3D brush being applied to the whole of Kanto. The catching mechanics are akin to Pokemon Go, and you can transfer your mons from there into this game. The battling, however, remains the same, and while there are no abilities, there is still plenty of tactical nuance to conduct. Shiny hunting has been made easier than ever, with the addition of chaining, allowing you to increase your chances of finding those elusive, different coloured Pokemon. You could have a counter on screen. Chansey? Shiny Ponyta! Throw in the fact that you can ride on a wealth of your partners, including surfing with Lapras, flying with Charizard, and even holding on for dear life with Snorlax, this game is a must for all Pokemon fans. Dead Cells has to be one of my most played games this year. Another roguelike with Metroidvania elements, right up my street. Using a variety of weapons ranging from swords, axes, whips, bows, grenades and traps to go through a ton of different biomes, each with different enemies and hazards. Collect cells from fallen opponents and chests to upgrade yourself or unlock new weapons and skills for future playthroughs. The hunt for these cells lead to riskier pathways for bigger rewards or speedrunning through the early levels to pass time-locked doors later on. The music is immersive and catchy, with each biome boasting a new tune, while the graphics are simple yet just what this game needs. Intense boss fights and replayability for days, I urge everyone to give this game a go. I was so hyped for Monster Hunter when I was notified of its impending release, but the wait for it came to PC was painful. It came out 8 months after the PS4 version. When it did come out, me and my friends binged it for 8 hours on release night. Monster Hunter is an absolute epic, exploring gorgeous locales as you hunt down larger and larger beasts. The recipe is simple: track down monster, fight monster, kill monster, make weapons out of monsters' body parts, and then look for a bigger monster. It sounds so repetitive, but each fight is intense, dramatic, and full of options, with a host of different weapons to choose from and destructible environments to help you take down your huge opponents. The music is brilliant, ranging from the calm in the camp to dramatic tunes when you're in the throes of battle. With new events being released all the time, crossovers with games such as Devil May Cry and Final Fantasy, and a huge expansion on the horizon, there is plenty to do for a long while yet. People will probably call me a Nintendo fanboy for having my #1 game 2 years in a row be from the Switch, but come on, it's Smash! For so long people have waited for Smash Ultimate and now it's finally here, and it's even more epic than ever before. A lot of people were worried that this would just be another port or an update from Smash 4, but this is a brand new, fully updated game that includes every fighter from previous games and more. Want to see who will win between Richter from Castlevania and Snake from Metal Gear? Whose sword is better? Is it Cloud from Final Fantasy or Link from The Legend of Zelda? And of course the age-old question, which mascot is better? Sonic, Mario or Pikachu? Smash is of course focused on the multiplayer, but for solo gamers there is the World of Light, a huge story that involves you beating various spirits and numerous challenges to unlock bonuses and also fight huge bosses later on. There is so much content here, and with DLC adding new fighters, I'll expect to be playing Ultimate well into 2020. Thanks for listening to my top 10 guys. Hit me with your favourite games of the year. Of course, missing out on all those great PS4 games that came out in 2018, and I would desperately want to get a PS4. Do you guys think I should? Do you want me to binge some of the PS4 games this year and just catch up on everything I've missed out on? And of course, let me know what you think of my top 10. Do you disagree with some of these choices, or do you agree with the placings? You want to move things around? Always interested in your feedback. Thanks for watching guys, take care, and I'll see you next time.